San Jose State is mourning the loss of a beloved student athlete killed in a tragic accident.
You didn't deserve to go like this, but I know you're looking over us now.
Just ahead, more about this promising young athlete, the accident that claimed his life, and the calls for new safety measures.
We'll tell you about the risks of using micromobility like e-scooters and how you can protect yourself. I'm Heather Allen. More on how to stay safe coming up.
It's Filipino History Month. We take you to one of the largest celebrations in the South Bay. That story and more just ahead.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Sandy Santos.
And I'm Rodri Smith. We begin with a call for safer transportation for San Jose State athletes. More than thousands of students have signed a petition calling for the university to provide bus transportation for athletes going to morning practices or late evening practices at the South Campus. It comes in the wake of a tragic accident that left a freshman student athlete dead. Camden McWright was struck by a bus as he rode an electric scooter to an early morning practice pre-game meeting. His death left the campus reeling. We have the team coverage beginning with reporter Carson Wells.
The accident occurred just a few blocks from campus. As I discovered, part of it was captured on a local surveillance camera. Camden McWright was on his way to a pre-game meeting last Friday morning just before 7. The crash happened here at the intersection of 10th and Reed. He was crossing the street on an electric scooter when a school bus struck him. The surveillance video from a store on the corner shows what happened. We've paused it before the point of impact.
The school bus was traveling east on Reed and had entered that intersection at 10th Street. 18-year-old male was traveling south on 10th Street, and the 18-year-old male rode the electric scooter into the path of the school bus where he was struck and sadly sustained fatal injuries.
Lizette Contreras lives nearby. She says it was heartbreaking and cannot imagine how his family must feel.
Well, I'm very sorry. It hurts because I'm alone. I'm just so sorry that this happened. I hope they can find peace. Yeah.
She says she was also worried about the children on the bus who witnessed the crash.
I saw him, yeah, and then they covered him with a yellow, blanket over him, so the other children cannot see because they're kids that are picked up. The same bus that picked up the kids here is the same bus that ran over that young guy.
Officers say the bus had 14 high school age students on board. They were transferred to another bus. The CHP is still investigating the crash, but it does not appear that McWright was wearing a helmet. Wanting to do something to express her sorrow, Contreras left a candle where the young student athlete lost his life.
When somebody dies, to bring flowers, or even though if he's not a family member, you have to bring that gift to that person's soul so it could rest.
The team and San Jose State community intend to honor Camden at this weekend's homecoming game against the Nevada Wolfpack.
Camden McWright was a freshman and only been a member of the San Jose State family for a few months, but it was clear that even in that short amount of time, he made an impression. Camden McWright was 18 years old, but even at such a young age, his parents knew their son was special.
He had a lot of values. He had patience. He was kind to everyone who he came across. He was patient and loving and would never hurt anybody intentionally unless it had to do with football, but off the football field, he's just like the best person you would want to know.
When McWright was born, his parents said the nurses predicted he would be a football star. His mother said this week's earthquake in San Jose was her son's continuing to find the end zone.
I just know he's with the Lord and running touchdowns in heaven. That was that earthquake today.
McWright picked up 6 yards on 3 carries in his first game for SJSU against UNLV, but his impact was felt beyond football. San Jose State coach who recruited McWright said he was also a dedicated scholar.
Our receivers coach, Eric Scott, called me into the office one day and he said, "Zoe, sit down and watch this." And it was Cam's film. And I was like, where is he at? So literally the next day I got on a plane and flew out to see him. And when he walked in the room smiling, and 4.3 GPA, by the way.
But over everything, McWright was described as a caring and compassionate young man.
Camden was an incredible young man. He had a light and a spirit that he shared with everybody every day. That's who he was. That's how he carried himself.
In the wake of McWright's sudden passing, hundreds of students turned out for a vigil in his honor. Some knew him, others didn't. All are trying to process this heartbreaking loss. The university has made grief counselors available for students and faculty.
Camden McBride was on an electric scooter when he was struck and killed. The use of the scooters and other micromobility devices is gaining speed. Reporter Heather Allen looks at the rules of the road you should follow to keep yourself safe.
They call it micromobility. Bikes, e-scooters, and electric bikes that you can rent and ride for short distances around the Bay Area. And they've become increasingly popular since they were introduced in 2018. But one major problem with rentable scooters and bikes is that many riders don't follow the rules designed to protect them.
It kind of says it on the scooter, but I just see people, not wearing a helmet and going on the sidewalk anyway, so that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Experts say that there are several major factors in e-scooter injuries. They are hard to see, riders often don't wear helmets, riders may be inexperienced, and small wheels make e-scooters hyperreactive to small movements with long stop times.
You want to follow all the rules of the road, make sure that that you're paying attention to all the traffic around you. We never want to tell people that they're in charge of keeping themselves safe, but that just tends to be the reality out there in the street.
One thing riders can do to protect themselves is to wear a helmet every time they ride, but that presents a challenge with scooters that you can rent on the street. Additionally, first-time users of e-scooters are subject to brief instructions. Those instructions do include wearing a helmet and following all local traffic rules. It is no more explicit than that. That makes it easy for riders to ignore rules that could save their lives.
These things are kind of like toys, and the rules are uncertain for most people. For most people, it's put it on your phone and get this thing unlocked and go ride, and they don't know what the rules are. And they're riding on roads, and so they need to know the rules of the roads to ride.
Those rules include having a driver's license, riding in bike lanes, and stopping at all stop signs and stop lights. Helmets are always strongly recommended.
They put helmets in here, but I know that'd be kind of hard because people would steal them or something.
In San Jose, I'm Heather Allen, Update News.
When we come back,
Election day is just around the corner. How much do you know about the propositions on the ballot? We go in depth on a few of the most controversial.
Kanye West has lost most of his business deals and endorsements because of hate speech. But will fans still buy his music? We will ask that question just ahead.
I'm Badiana Martinez. Do you want to know the weather for Halloween? Stay tuned to find out.
California voters have a long love-hate relationship with propositions, but this midterm there are far fewer than usual, just 7 ballot initiatives. The most controversial, though, are Prop 26, 27, and 31. But what's all the fuss about? Reporter Demetrius Chevis-Rose breaks it down.
California voters have a lot of decisions to make this midterm election. In addition to the candidates, there are controversial propositions on reproductive freedom, flavored tobacco, and sports betting. We asked some voters to weigh in on their thoughts on those props. First, Prop 1. Despite abortion already being legal in California, Proposition 1 would secure the right to reproductive freedom in the state's constitution.
Well, I do know the state law or the constitution, it states that it protects the right to privacy, but that's very broad. By adding in the right to reproductive rights, we're putting right out there this is what's protected, it cannot be overturned or anything like that. It ensures basically our individuals in our country that California is here to protect your right to an abortion.
Flavored tobacco devices have grown increasingly popular among teenagers. Proposition 31 will finalize the ban of flavored tobacco sales in stores.
I think what they were trying to do, and I think the objective is to get it out of the hands of children, try to get these cotton candy flavors away from the kids.
Singh says he does not believe the prop would negatively affect sales at his liquor store.
To my effect on my business, I had seen negligible effect, especially during the beginning 45-day period. They give you the exemption of getting rid of your inventory. Over time, it doesn't affect, but it sure for the first short period, yes.
Then there's sports gambling. It is currently illegal in California. It's likely you've seen battling ads over these two. Bottom line, Prop 26 would allow tribal casinos and the state's 4 horse racing tracks to offer in-person sports betting. Prop 27 would allow licensed tribes and gaming companies to offer mobile and online sports betting for adults 21 and older outside Native American tribal lands. Proponents claim most of the money raised from taxes would help combat homelessness.
If the government is able to adjust revenues in order to, combat causes like homelessness or anything else, be it infrastructure, I feel like that could be an outlet in which they could approach it through. Proposition 27 is the perfect way to fight some of these battling issues that we have.
So voters have to sort it out. You may have already gotten your mail-in ballot. Election Day is November 8th. In San Jose, this is Demetrius Chevis-Rose with Update News.
You can vote in person from now through Election Day on campus at the Event Center, room 1035. You can also drop off your ballot there or at the ballot boxes located outside of the MLK Library or Dudley Moorhead Hall.
There is more fallout for Ye, the artist formerly known as Kanye West. Adidas is the big company to cut ties with West after he doubled down on his anti-Semitic statements. The move had financial consequences. Forbes says the rapper is no longer on its list of billionaires. So did Adidas make the right move, and will fans still listen to his music? We put those questions to students on campus. That's this week's State of the Spartans.
I think it makes sense to drop him for his remarks because when you're such a big platform, if you're silent when someone says something like anti-Semitic or racist, if you're silent, you're low-key letting it slide. So I definitely think it makes sense for them to drop it. I think it's probably a good move for them and the Jewish community in general, or any community that's been discriminated against. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kanye West's music. I listen to his music every day. I think I'd still listen to his music because I think his music from 2005, talking about how he's from bad parts of Chicago and making a living, versus him now is completely two different entities. I don't support what he says these days, and I don't support him now, but his music from, I think, back then is a different object of a different person from back then.
My thought is Adidas did the right thing. What he said, obviously, it's not cool to Jewish people. I think he deserves to be dropped. His, reputation henceforth after that, it's not something Adidas wants to put up with, and I agree with their decision. to drop him from the deal. I'd definitely still listen to it, but I'm not like the biggest fan of his, but I definitely don't support his recent remarks.
I used to like Kanye's music a lot, and I think that he's a great performer, but I think all the things that he is kind of advocating for and speaking out against is completely irrational and discriminatory against a lot of people, and so I have not listened to his music probably within the last year just to kind of stay away from promoting his music. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that that was a great decision on them to not represent someone who's spreading hateful speech on others and just not really giving us a well-rounded society and community through someone so powerful and someone so big in music right now.
You might want to grab a sweater before you head out. It looks like those cool temperatures will continue for a while. Vadiana Martinez Garcia has your forecast.
Hi, I'm Vadiana, and let's take a look at this week's weather. The temperature is changing this week. We will begin to see a mix of cool clouds, winds, and cooler temperatures. The temperature will be in the high, mainly in the 60s and 70s as we approach this weekend. There's a better chance for some showers. And now let's take a look at the futurecast. The futurecast shows storms mostly passing by to the north and inland, our east, sending clouds our way at times, plus some wind. By the weekend, we'll see clouds increasing and some possible showers around Sunday. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Temperatures in the 7-day forecast should cool into the weekend, with Santa Cruz seeing temperatures mostly in the 60s and breezy at times. Temperatures drop from 68 to 60 on Friday. Oakland will see cooling as well, with increasing clouds and a chance for showers later in the weekend. Then we look at San Francisco. It will continue to have breezy conditions at times with cooling trend into the week. We're also going to see a chance for showers around Sunday. In San Jose, we will continue to see a trend of increasing clouds and possible showers over the weekend with clearing skies and breezy conditions. Temperatures start at mid-80s and decrease to high 60s. There's a chance that we could see some showers at early to start Halloween as well. I'm Vadiana, and back to the desk.
And when we come back,
hundreds turn out to celebrate Filipino History Month with traditional music, food, and dance. That story just ahead.
And we catch up with SJSU athletics, including the latest men's soccer team win. That and more after the break.
At San Jose State, we really do learn by doing. This is my first semester working on our award-winning newspaper, the Spartan Daily. But my whole time here really has been about real-world skill building. Professors like Diane Gurazi continue their work in journalism while bringing that knowledge back to us in the classroom each semester. Then we're on the Spartan Daily, Update News, or the Spear. We get to put all that into practice. We even get to work with cutting-edge tools like our new VR lab, where we get to learn new ways of real storytelling using 3D virtual reality.
Our students have many opportunities to work in newsrooms that function like the ones they will encounter in their professional careers. Here in Update News, for instance, we produce a weekly show that is aired on local access television in San Jose, and we produce video news that is digital first. Students will get experience as producers, anchors, and field reporters.
The Spartan Daily, our award-winning student newspaper, has not missed a scheduled publication date in more than 80 years and remains one of the longest-standing papers of its kind in the Western United States. Through classroom instruction and our newsroom labs, we give our students the tools to succeed and create their own bright futures. Learn by doing. If you're interested in joining our program, visit our website for more information.
October is the month when we recognize Filipino-American history. It commemorates the first known arrival of Filipinos in the United States, the spot Morro Bay, California, in October 1587. This week, hundreds turned out at the South Bay to celebrate with traditional music, dance, and food.
The Filipino-American community came together at the Veriesa Flea Market to celebrate its history, legacy, and heritage. The market was transformed with lights, music, traditional food, and art that represented the island's culture and beliefs.
How this all started is we were inspired by an old festival that took place during the 90s and early 2000s called Street Jam. So it's all Filipino Americans, also, like this, with vendors, food, entertainment. So we wanted to bring that back to our community.
The first Filipino American History Month was celebrated in October 1992, as October is said to be the month when the first Filipinos arrived to America.
Filipino Americans came to the United States when Luzones Indios and Filipino sailors landed in Morro Bay, California.
My mom, she was actually born in a cave. During the Japanese invasion, they escaped and had to hide in caves, just to pay respect to the whole Filipino culture. It's just beautiful to be able to see everyone here and we could enjoy each other. It's because of our parents and our grandparents that we were able to come together. So
Filipino Americans are the second largest ethnic group in California. The city of San Jose has a population of more than 100,000 Filipino Americans. It's the fourth largest population in the country. Fan Jam Festival filled San Jose with music and art. Hundreds enjoy the performances.
Some great food, company, music, great vendors, local artists. It's a great time, first of many, I hope, and thanks for supporting the Filipinos in the Bay.
I'm just happy to be here, happy to see the rest of the performances, and to celebrate, Filipino history, but also make our own history here.
This is the third year that Fan Jam has been celebrated in this location.
You have one more chance to celebrate, as Union City is holding an event this weekend.
In a wake of Camden McWright's passing, the San Jose State football game against New Mexico last weekend was postponed. And will there be a rescheduled date for a later time? The football team will honor McWright with several tributes before the start of its game against the University of Nevada, Reno. Now let's check in with the rest of the San Jose State sports teams. Jesus Teletude has that update.
The men's soccer team bounced back from a loss after defeating Utah Valley 1-0 on Sunday. Forward Anthony Guzman scored the lone goal in this match early in the second half, and it proved to be the match winner. It marked Guzman's second goal of the season. But the man of the match has to go to goalkeeper David Sweeney, who came up big in goal. He finished with 5 saves and grabbed his 5th shutout of the season. The Spartans now travel to face Air Force on Friday. Here's head coach Simon Tobin and his thoughts on the upcoming game.
When it's the number 1 team against the number 2, it's a big game, so it's we're looking forward to it. I think Air Force, what they are in league, maybe 7-0. I don't think they've dropped 1 point, so not even a tie. And obviously, every time you go to Colorado Springs, you're playing at altitude, and it's just a tougher game. But we're up for it.
Women's volleyball was also in action. The team suffered a 3-1 defeat against UNLV, which snapped its 9-game winning streak. Valera Fleming finished the game with a career-best 20 kills. Despite the loss, the Spartans are second in the Mountain West Conference. The team has a 15-5 overall record and a 9-1 record in conference play. They take on Air Force on the road later today at 6 p.m. And have you noticed the men's water polo team is on fire lately? That's right, the team is on a 5-game winning streak after sweeping the competition in the Julian Fraser Memorial Tournament. They'll look to extend that streak to 6 games this Saturday versus UC Santa Barbara. In San Jose, Jesus Teletude, Update News.
Thanks, Jesus, for the sports update. To keep up with these sports and more, go to San Jose State Athletics website.
This is Homecomings Week on the San Jose State campus. It's a chance for students, faculty, and alumni to celebrate Spartan Pride. Here's the marching band and some of the floats in the annual golf cart parade. Halloween is just a few days away, and there's a lot more going on. Here's Carson's coming up calendar.
Here are some things to look forward to this upcoming week. The 15th annual Fire at the Fountain goes from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tower Lawn. Enjoy free food, swag, and amazing entertainment. See Macbeth at the Hammer Theatre. The show will be performed by actors from the London stage. The show goes from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. The Spartan football team takes on the Nevada Wolfpack in the 2022 homecoming game. The game starts at 7:30 p.m., but there will be tailgating before. Attend the Happy Halloween Costume Contest in the CVB Quad. Winners will have a chance to win prizes in a variety of categories. That's all for this week.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.